Now tonight, there seems to be no let-up in the funding crisis facing the education sector. Auditor General Nancy Gathungu is raising the alarm over the defunding of education in the country, saying it threatens the future of Kenya's human capital. NTV's senior reporter Catherine Omwando reports that more than 163,000 university students and their counterparts in technical vocational education and training have been left without loans, as the Higher Education Loans Board continues to face a funding shortfall of 13.7 billion shillings in the financial year ending June 2025.
More than 163,000 students who met the criteria for HELB loans were not funded in the 2024-2025 financial year. Of these, 103,000 are university students, while more than 60,000 are enrolled in TVET institutions. HELB attributes the situation to a 13.7 billion shilling budget shortfall, saying loan demand exceeds its financial capacity due to the rising number of students joining higher education institutions. Financially constrained students will be forced to defer.
We had a deficit of 13.7 billion affecting 163,489 students in the financial year 2024-25. And in this new financial year, we project that the deficit will be 36.1 billion affecting 468,237 students.
In an audit meeting convened by the Parliamentary Committee on Education, HELB CEO revealed that although the board received over 700,000 applications, it was only able to fund less than half of those applicants. According to HELB, the current student-centered funding model requires every government-placed student in higher education to be funded. However, the student surge continues to outpace the available budget.
HELB respectively appeals to the National Assembly to consider supplementary allocation to bridge the budget deficit for the financial year 2024-25 and the envisaged gap for 2025-26 in order to support the growing number of unfunded students to sustain the momentum of the funding model.
This as the Auditor General decried the systematic defunding of the education sector, warning that chronic underinvestment threatens the future of Kenya's human capital. The Auditor General has called for urgent reforms to safeguard public higher education, noting that delays and shortfalls in funding violate students' constitutional right to education. In an audit conducted between the years of 2021 and 2024, it shows that the government underfunded public schools by 117 billion shillings, with secondary schools being the most affected. Speaking before the Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly, officials of the Auditor General's office said that basic education sector received 71 billion shillings less over the last 4 years. Junior secondary schools received 39.9 billion shillings less than the budgeted amount, while primary schools were short by 14 billion between the years of 2021 and 2024.
That is my question.
Meanwhile, the University Funding Board, UFB, is also under scrutiny by the Education Committee, now entangled in a dispute over figures concerning debt owed to private universities. UFB told the committee that it owes 65 billion shillings, but the Kenya Association of Private Universities insists the debt stands at only 48.8 billion shillings.
Chair, during this period, we had a resource requirement of 26.5 billion that was supposed to directly go to universities and based on the number of students in these universities. However, we were only able to be allocated 16 billion. And so what that has meant is that 16.9 billion. We have had a deficit of about 9 billion. And so indicatively, we've had challenges in terms of support to universities because we need the money.
This situation highlights the deepening crisis in the education sector at a time when university enrollment continues to rise and government revenue struggles to keep up. Catherine Omwando, NTV.